if you don't take it seriously, 100 years ago, 100 million people died because of the Spanish influenza. So again, it changes the way we think about like traveling and about sanitation and vaccinations. All these things start arising because of World War I. And then the last one is it led to the rise of Hitler, because, and this will talk. It goes into the next slide. After the war ended in 1918, the whole world went to Paris for one whole year. It's called the Paris Peace Conference. So Paris was the capital of the world for one whole year. And all the countries went to decide how to divide up all the lands, who gets what, who gets what money, what should Germany have to pay for losing the war. All these types of things were there. And this is the actual, this is a newspaper that actually mentions like treaty signed, war over. So this is an actual newspaper from that point in time. So all the countries in the world and all the powers, so the Arabs went, the Jews went. It even said like the people, even like the African Americans in the U.S., they went to try to advocate for themselves. Everybody had a chance to advocate for themselves. The whole world was changing. So Germany was forced to pay billions of dollars at that point in time, which is, can you imagine what it is now, in debt for losing the war. And they had to pay back each country individually. And people say partly the reason why Hitler came because Germans were so humiliated because of these austerity measures, to use a modern term, that they were so humiliated as a people and they had no money and people couldn't find a job. It was really miserable. He was able to take that and make it into like, he was able to appeal to their spirit, look what they've done to us, they've humiliated us, we need to get our place back. And people say, not like historians say, this is why Hitler was able to come and convince so many people, because they're so humiliated after that. And after World War II, when Germany loses, this is a separate issue, the conditions put upon them are much different, because the people learn from what happened in World War I that we can't do that. But if we do, we might lead to another Hitler coming into power. Anyhow, so to go back to our Muslim focus, both the Arabs and the Jews went to argue their case. So remember, there are three different treaties, right? The Arab treaty, then the treaty amongst the allies themselves, and the treaty with the Jews. So everyone is trying to say, no, you promised me this, no, you promised me this. And as they do that, Woodrow Wilson, who was the President of the United States, and again, the United States starting to emerge now as a world power, he institutes a commission, a fact-finding mission to figure out if we divided up the Middle East according to the way you want, what will be the consequences of that? That's called the King-Crane Commission in 1919. These people, I think it was David Crane and I forget what the other, somebody King. They were actually people, they were scholars, they both spoke Arabic. They went to every single one of these countries and met people, and they took surveys and they interviewed people, and after this they went for months and months and months. And I don't know, there are actually pictures of them going to like different tribes and talking to them and going to this river and that river. Like they really did their homework. And their finding was, and I'll quote, "Establishment of a Jewish homeland in those places is impossible without trampling the rights of people who already live there." So the recommendation of this commission was to stop the idea of a Jewish homeland in Palestine. Based upon their scholarly opinion, they say if you do that, you're going to cause chaos in the region. And you know what happened to that report? Put in a file somewhere. Obviously they ignored it, because that's not what happened. The history of Palestine is a whole different topic that somebody, inshallah, who knows more than me can go over that. But they did the report, they knew what was going to happen, they decided to ignore it. And I think this is this is the slide. So, what did the Allied powers do? They divided up the Ottoman lands pretty much according to the Sykes-Picot Agreement. French were given Syria, and from Syria they created Lebanon. Lebanon was not a real country. Anyone here who's Lebanese, Lebanon is invented 100 years ago. It did not exist before that. It was invented to give the the Christians who supported them during the war effort their own homeland. But whenever you do that, you're going to cause problems because it's artificially created. It didn't naturally occur. So that's one thing. And the British took Transjordan, which was mentioned, Jordan, Palestine, Israel, Iraq, and Arabia. When they took Arabia, they were basically the leaders of Arabia, but they had, remember Sharif Hussein way back then? They said, okay, for you helping us in the war, we'll make your sons the rulers of different countries. But the true power is the British, and is really well known, well established. It was known that we'll give you power over these lands, but you really report to us, and wherever we say goes, basically. So they're like puppet figures. Okay? So the eldest son, Ali, was given Hijaz, okay? And he only ruled from October 1924 to December 1925. So he only ruled for a year. And the reason for that is because the Saudis came into power. Now, while the British were supporting Sharif Hussein, they were supporting another power called the Al-Saud. Al-Saud came into power and kicked out Ali. And that was, he ruled for a year, that was the end of it. So not only they're quadruple doing, like behind the back, right? So anyhow, so Ali, that's the end of Sharif Hussein. Remember, they ruled Mecca, their family ruled Mecca for 700 years prior to this. They're gone after 1925. His youngest son Faisal, and we saw pictures of Faisal earlier on, like handsome man, mashallah, with the big beard and stuff. He was made the king of Iraq. Iraq didn't have a king before that. The people of Iraq didn't want him to be their king. They kicked him out. The British went and put his uncle in power and his cousins in power, all the same family, until 1958. Iraq had enough of it and they revolted and they slaughtered the whole family. And one of the people who participated in the slaughter was a man known as Saddam Hussein. So now you understand why all these things that were done, they have consequences that are going to show up later on. The last son, Abdullah, was given Jordan. And Jordan is the only place that still has a descendant of Sharif Hussein as the ruler now. King Abdullah had a son whose name was, I'm forgetting now, but his grandson, his great-great-grandson, is the present ruler of Jordan. Okay? And I'm forgetting his name right now. Abdullah. He's the president of Jordan. So he's still there. That's why it's called the Hashimi Kingdom of Jordan, because he's from Bani Hashim. Bani Hashim had nothing to do with Jordan before that, right? Bani Hashim was in Mecca. So they went there. So this is the only happy ending, I suppose, from the Sharif Hussein's point of view. Hussein, mashallah. That's it. And then his father, Abdullah.
So it is true, the Hashemite, like when they say we are Hashemites, the second.
Yes, that's also true. But the Hashimi from Mecca, and the Hashimi from Tunis. I know it's almost time for Maghrib, but we'll finish in 2 minutes. So this is how after World War II, after World War I, how it was divided up. You can see there. We just talked about that. Syria. I just want to mention one thing about Syria, and I think I just have one last slide after that. So Syria, the French got Syria, and they made all these mini states within Syria. So they divided it up further into that. And the one I want to focus on is the. Can you see on the left the purple, the Alawi state? Now, Syria still to this day has a Sunni majority population. The French, they wanted a way to control the Sunni population. So they promoted the Alawis to go into power and bring them up in the military. They kind of promote them to make sure a minority would be able to control the majority of Sunnis, because they're kind of worried about them rising up. So the Alawis literally, and this is, I know friends of mine who were Syrian, and they were saying that their grandparents used to tell them, the Alawis were people in the home cleaning the toilets. The people, like the cooks and the cleaners. They were basically considered to be very low-class people. They either worked as servants or they lived in the mountain. and they were treated very badly, according to what my friend said. To be fair to them. So when they got the opportunity, the French kind of encouraged them to be part of the military and things like that to control the Sunni population. The father of the current, I don't even know what to call him. Yeah, but I don't know what to call him. He's may Allah help the people. I don't know even what word to use, but his father came from the French support. Eventually they came and they kicked out the French and they took over. But this was because of the policies of the French. The Alawis came into power. Otherwise the Alawis would be living in the mountains and nobody would ever hear of them. Turkey was actually taken, and Turkey actually had a war of independence. And under the leadership of a man called Kemal, which is why they love him so much. And anybody been to Turkey, there are statues of him everywhere. I've been there a few times. He's everywhere. They love him very, very dearly. And he officially abolished the Khalifa in the Caliphate in 1922. Now this is backwards. We don't need a caliphate. We need to be a modern European style of country. Abolished the Khalifa. Khalifa had no power, and he was exiled in 1924. So this is the last slide. So this is.
Is there any question and answer?
Yes, inshallah. So just
after Maghrib or before Maghrib?